Hi, folks. Welcome to the last of my short little prepping series. This one is on health and home remedies. Here's my normal disclaimers. I have to do this CYA disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical practitioner of any kind. This is not medical advice. I am only discussing home remedies here. Like they do not tell you with a certain serum that they're trying to force on everybody. I will say, talk to your doctor before you do anything. Before you decide to breathe, talk to your flippin' doctor. I would suggest, though, if you're going to talk to a medical practitioner, talk to an herbalist or somebody who specializes in nutrition instead of somebody who only specializes in peddling chemical concoctions from major companies with criminal records. I apologize about the sound. This was recorded on a different computer with different equipment. I had to have the generator and the air conditioner going, so it's not as good as I'd like it to be. But from here on out, I've got a nice set of headphones I'm speaking to you on now, so things should be better. Okay, so here we go.
Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. One of the biggest problems we have in the world right now is our food supply is toxic, especially in the United States. We have neurotoxins in the water, and we have so much that's allowed into our food in this country that is banned in other countries because it causes cancer. So, and then of course we've got the frankenfood. So a big thing about health is it's much better to prevent getting sick in the first place. And the best way to do that is diet. A lot of people believe, including myself, we believe that the majority of illnesses are caused by diet and lack of real nutrients. So keep that in mind, that you can use food as medicine. So you might want to consider getting some natural remedy, home remedy books, and especially books on the medicinal uses of food. So if you can't get your medications anymore because of a shortage, or you can't afford to buy your pharmaceuticals at the store anymore, at least you would know or could go and look up what you can eat to help with certain health issues. So please keep in mind, food is one of the most important things in the world to keep you healthy. Also, I spoke earlier about essential oils. Do not underestimate essential oils. There's a blend called thieves oil or thieves blend. And where that came from is back during the Black Plague, there was a family of spice traders that was not allowed to trade spices anymore because of the plague and quarantines and all of that. So they were basically put out of business. Well, they ended up turning to thievery to survive. But they would steal from the houses and off the bodies of plague victims, and they never got sick. And this was just unbelievable and unheard of. Well, finally these guys got caught, and in exchange for their lives, they told the king what their secret was as to how they kept themselves safe and healthy and never get the plague, even though they would deliberately expose themselves to it. And it was a blend. That's what the thieves oil is. It was a blend of rosemary, lemon, cinnamon, and clove. But there are a lot of other essential oils that can take the place of that. For example, lavender and tea tree. And so there's many different essential oils that can be used. But consider that when you're shopping for first aid and so on and so forth, that you might want to collect a few essential oils. And some of them are really cheap. Some of them are like $5 or less. One word of warning: do not ever use them straight up. And they call that neat. Don't ever use it straight up. They always need to be diluted. The only exception to this rule is lavender. And the reason being is these things are so strong that if you take a bottle of essential oils and put it right by your nose and inhale, you could actually burn your olfactory nerve. The way to smell an essential oil is to open the bottle, but hold it a little bit away from you and wave the smell towards you, so you get it in a slightly diluted way. But you always want to mix essential oils with what they call a carrier oil. And you can use even regular cooking oil from your kitchen. You can use sweet almond oil or grapeseed oil, or even olive oil. There's a lot of different oils you can use. So always dilute it, look up the safety precautions, and follow that. So keep in mind, essential oils, really, really powerful stuff. Another thing that you may want to look into is what's growing around you. There are so many medicinal plants that we call weeds and put chemicals on to kill. For example, dandelion. And if you can't have a garden, if you can't do anything, go out and get you some dirt and collect you some dandelion seeds and grow dandelions. Because dandelions have been known to treat diabetes, and you can live off them. They are so medicinal and they are edible. So keep in mind that a lot of the plants that you might call weeds that you're trying to get rid of could be cures for cancer in disguise. So take a look around you. And you see the picture here. Well, around me there's what's called cancer weed or lyre leaf sage. And that was a folk remedy for cancer. But they've suppressed a lot of this because the pharmaceutical companies do not want any competition whatsoever from things that they won't profit off of. That is why they've been poo-pooing natural healing and home remedies and food as medicine for decades now. And they've got the government, they bribed the government just to protect their monopoly. So keep in mind that there's a lot around you and a lot of natural remedies that are extremely powerful, but you're not going to hear about it from mainstream because mainstream is paid by the companies that want to sell you their pharmaceuticals. And by the way, up in the upper left-hand corner of this picture is poison ivy, folks. So you also need to learn about what could kill you that's growing around you and be very cautious, double check, so on and so forth before you consume. This is an herb that I'm growing called All Heal or Self Heal. And it's another one that you can actually mash up and use directly on wounds as a poultice. So you might want to start looking into growing herbs, especially if you're on pharmaceuticals. Just in case you may not be able to get that pharmaceutical, you might want to start growing whatever herbs will treat your ailment in the garden just in case. But look into natural medicine and herbal remedies, home remedies, etc. This is a little plant called sweet wormwood.
This is the botanical name of it. It's called sweet wormwood, or also called sweet Annie. The most commonly used name for it is sweet wormwood. And I found it very easy to grow from seed in the garden. And when the germophobia first hit, I ordered some dry herb off the internet and I ordered some seeds off the internet. So I've been using the dry herb in tea whenever I have to go out and I'm worried about exposure. And I've been growing it in the garden as well.
This is a plant that is used to treat malaria as well as another illness that the world has become germophobic about. There are a lot of natural remedies for that specific illness. And one thing I found that these remedies have in common is they've also been supposedly reported to help with cancers. So you might want to look into getting natural remedies like a quinine tonic that you can make from citrus peels, grapefruit, things like that. So when I had to work in the public last year, I would take a quinine tonic as well as an herbal tea to help boost my immune system for when I had to go out and be in the public. It makes a huge difference. And you would not believe how strong, again, natural remedies can be.
Garlic is another highly, highly medicinal food that is very, very common. Every day I eat 2 to 3 cloves of garlic along with some real butter on some crackers. The health benefits of eating this every day, I consider it like one of my supplements. But garlic is just unbelievably healthy and good for you. And it can also help neutralize toxins such as the arsenic that is found in rice. The one thing I will mention though is that if you get herbs from the grocery store and not from your garden, a lot of those herbs have been reported to have dangerously high levels of arsenic and lead and things like that in them. In order to be safe with what you're eating, I would recommend if you can grow it instead of buy it, definitely grow it. That way you can be absolutely sure about what you are consuming. I learned about this tonic a few years ago and it has been a lifesaver to me. And what you do is you get ginger, lemon, and honey, and then you can add herbal teas or certain herbs to it as well. That's up to you. I like adding an herbal tea for throat health because I had a sore throat when I first took this. And any kind of herbal tea that has Egyptian licorice in it really gives it a sweet taste. The way I make it is I will take a good chunk of ginger, chop it up into very thin slices, simmer that for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, you add slices of lemon, and I usually give them a good squeeze and put them in there and let that go for 10 minutes. And then I'll turn off the heat. I'll put in my herbal tea bags and things like that and let it brew for a few minutes and let it cool. Then I'll add the honey. Once it's cooled enough to work with, then I will strain it and put it in glass bottles to be used whenever I feel like it. I drank this tea when I started getting a sore throat, and it kicked out that sore throat within an hour. One of my old bosses had an employee who was sick in bed, and she asked me for some of this tonic, and I brought it to her. Once he had it, he was up and running and fine for the rest of the day. Another friend of mine was starting to get sick, and I gave her this tonic, and it just completely reversed it. So, this is a very good tonic to take as soon as you feel like you're starting to get a cold or anything like that. And it's high in vitamin C and highly medicinal. I really do believe that natural healing methods like this are a whole lot better for you than chemical compounds made by large corporations that really don't have your best interests at heart. They want profits, and they can't patent lemons and ginger and honey. So they don't profit off of it, which is why they don't want you taking this stuff. Pine needle tea is another thing I would really recommend to people. And when I had to work around people last year, I drank pine needle tea. I also drank sweet wormwood tea, and I made a quinine tonic. And I never got sick. I have not been sick since I had a cold back in the middle of 2019. Pine needle tree is very high in vitamin C, and it is the natural version of a drug that's not available anymore called Ceramin.
There's a lot of old-timey cold and flu remedies that are made with garlic and peppers. There's tons of them. There's videos on YouTube, all of that. So again, folks, do not underestimate the healing effects of natural remedies and food. Look into it and create natural remedy backups for what you normally might buy in the store in case they're not available in the store anymore or you might not have money to buy it.
Well, thank you guys for your time again. I really hope I gave you some good suggestions on home remedies and natural things that you can stock up on to help your immune system and help you stay healthy. Because the best thing to do is not get sick in the first place. Having a good diet and making sure that you get all your minerals and nutrients is so much better than having a horrible diet and then getting sick, and then you need something from the doctor for that, which often has a side effect, and you need something from the doctor for that side effect, and it snowballs. You want to strengthen your immune system and also consider natural remedies for the things that you have to get from the pharmacy, just in case we don't have medicines anymore, you can't afford them, or whatnot. I hope this inspires you and gives you some good ideas of things that you might be able to do in case you can't go to the store and buy medicines. In the next few years, our health is going to be critical. And as we've seen for the last few years, companies and large organizations that are supposed to be for our health don't necessarily have our best interests at heart anymore. It's very important that you pay attention to what you're eating because the majority of illnesses that we have in this country are because of the franken food and all the preservatives and all the processing and the things that we eat. So you guys stay healthy, grow a good herb garden, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and stay strong and healthy. We're going to need it. All right, that's it for now. You guys are awesome. Leave a comment, hit like, and I'll see y'all later. Y'all come back now, you hear? Bye.